Good morning on Wednesday, the 11th of December, 2024. It's 8 a.m. in the Gambia, and therefore coffee time with me, Peter Gomez. And the program is brought to you in association with partners led by Bloombank Africa, the Gambia Experience, the USA, PEEC and Gam Food Trading, TAF Africa Global, Wave Global Properties, and Easy Financial Services.
Did you know service plots are now available at Baki? Welcome to Baki, Taft City's fourth residential estate.
Yes, service plots available at Baki with 3 years interest-free payment plan with a minimum deposit of only $94,000, and it will come with fence plot, water reticulation, electricity, solar street lights, and bituminized internal roads. Are you ready to build your dream home for yourself?
Call us now.
Our program today is mainly a discussion with former Vice President BB Dabo, now leader of the GFA, about the cost of living crisis in the country. But we'll also be talking about tourism and training for tax revenue collectors. Thanks for joining us.
Looking for an establishment where value for money and unrivaled services with admirable turnaround time is guaranteed? The Port of Banjul is the perfect place for you, a vital gateway for trade offering connections to numerous global destinations. With improved infrastructure combined with a flexible tariff, the Port of Banjul remains a vital node in maritime trade. Along with its dedicated workforce, efficient service delivery, technology-inspired innovation, and an impressive record in handling all types of cargo, the Port of Banjul is also widely acknowledged as one of the safest ports on the continent, with no history of piracy. As a major player in the region's maritime trade, accounting for 90% of all imports and exports, we are more than just a transit point, but a vital cog in the global trade sphere. Come experience a hassle-free fast customs clearance inspired by our simplified trade documentation procedures, safe and efficient cargo and vessel handling. The Port of Banjul offers prompt, reliable and value for money service, and customer satisfaction is guaranteed.
Our press review starts with The Voice. IGP withdraws false publication and broadcasting case against The Voice newspaper editors. Environment Minister's $50 million lawsuit against journalist Mane resumes tomorrow. Environmentalists renew calls on government to rescind allocation of part of Salaji Forest to Gach Global. Former KMC CEO unveils contract irregularities at local government inquiry. NAWEC fires Treasury manager and suspends finance director for alleged financial misconduct. Deputy Speaker attends PMSC Oversight Conference. GTHI Redevelopment Plan Validation Workshop sets path for brighter future in tourism and hospitality sector. And USDA donors visit Methodist Special School in Canifing South. Next, a look at Foraya's front page. Chief Magistrate Pamodun Njai faces 6 criminal charges. Assembly urged to allow new draft constitution to committee stage. GPU President calls for media law reform and more press freedom. Residents urge government to provide abattoir and ovens as Meet the People tour ends in Banjul. GRA trains staff on risk management to boost revenue collection, and Bai Emil Toure receives Press Freedom Hero Award. The Point carries these headlines this morning. Chief Magistrate Njai charged with abuse of office and fraud. Human rights protection is a legal duty, not a choice, says NHRC chairman. This is not my signature, declares witness. Barrow warns anti-littering laws will be fully implemented, and Dabo responds to rural women's concern over water shortage. Finally, the Standard's front page, Chief Magistrate Njai charged with drug dealing. Government admits Africa 50 deal precludes it from bridge building within 50-kilometer radius of Senegambia Bridge. CBG Governor addresses Africa Finance Summit. Ex-KMC CEO admits taking $30,000 bribe. Jawara wins Heritage Times African Philanthropist Award, and U.S. Secretary of State confers Anti-Corruption Award on Marnyang. And that was your look at the newspapers this morning. Our thanks to the editors and reporters of Foraya, The Voice, The Point, and The Standard.
Hello. If I own a business account with Trust Bank, how can I pay salaries to my employees to other banks?
Kindly send us an instruction through your corporate officer, that's your relationship manager. Send the instruction through a hard copy and we will kindly process for you. It is easy, it is simple. We will need few information from you. Each customer's name, the BBAN, and the bank it needs to be sent to. The BBAN should be complete and it should be in 18 digits. Please kindly forward this and then it will be processed the same day and all the funds will be credited in other banks as well. Thank you.
On Wednesday, the 11th of December, 2024, I am Peter Gomez, and this is Coffee Time on West Coast Radio. Thanks for joining us. I want to start with breaking news just reaching Coffee Time. We're hearing that the Gambia has become the latest country to launch an operation to remove its nationals from Lebanon since Israel launched ground raids into its neighbor and Iran fired missiles at Israel. At least 25 Gambian passport holders, we understand, most of them to be female, were put on a plane out of Lebanon last night, and the group is expected back in Banjul later today. We don't have any more details, but it's worth commending the government for this very positive news, especially for the families and friends of the 25 lucky people now on their way to safety. Well, they'll be flying right into a biting cost of living back home. In the past couple of years, the Gambia has been grappling with stubbornly high inflation, which has ushered in a cost of living crisis, which, as it becomes entrenched, I have been discussing it with the former Vice President, Bakari Bunjad Dabo, BB, as he is commonly known, now heads Gambia For All, a party he formed a little over 4 years ago to try to loosen President Barrow's grip on power. He tells me that the cost of living was unaffordable even before the global inflation crisis, often cited by the authorities.
Let me acknowledge, of course, that cost of living crisis is perhaps the most acute aspect of the overall economic crisis in which our country is. I do agree it's an extremely serious situation we find ourselves in, and yes, dealing with inflation would be one way of starting to tackle that particular crisis. The government hasn't done much. I'm not sure whether they actually have much of a ground behind them. They almost have their back to the wall. But compared to what the situation calls for, really there has not been much at all. I mean, there's been a lot of spin by the government spokespersons on the issue, usually in the nature of, well, it's a global phenomenon, everybody is suffering from it, but that's called comfort to the citizens, the consumers. So that is not an easy thing to tackle. I think from the policy angle, what one would have expected is that the cost of living crisis, insofar as it affects food security, the government should have come out with a much more determined effort through investments to improve local production of food, whether it's fish whether it's foodstuffs in the field, whether it's livestock products. These are all sectors which have got a lot of potential in the country, but they have suffered tremendously, tremendous decline over the past 30 years, and to a large extent because of underfunding. They've been terribly underfunded. If you look at the budget from year to year, and I really, in this regard, I make little distinction between the period of the APRC regime and this, because as far as I'm concerned, it's a continuity there. It's really the same policy of lack of sufficient funding. Agricultural production has gone down drastically, both for food crops as well as cash crops. The farm incomes have gone down considerably. Fish production also the same. Cattle, livestock production, the same can be said for it. And there is little to offer as explanation other than that government has not kept up the funding needs, meeting the funding needs of this in terms of their needs to modernize and change. Take agriculture, for instance. The years have shown that rain-fed agriculture, the risks are so many, that this government should have really stepped up the effort to put in the necessary agricultural infrastructure in place to promote irrigation agriculture. A bold start has been done way back in the 70s with the Jahari Pachar project and projects of that nature. Now, instead of the government since 1994 building on those and expanding on them as they should have by investing more money into them, even those ones have collapsed. I was so shocked when riding from Basse 2-3 years ago. One early morning, I gave a lift to 2 or 3 local women who were trekking towards Brikamaba. And when we reached the level of Pachar, and I knew this area very well, it occurred to me to engage them and ask them how are they getting on with their rice production. And one of them, in very bitter tones, told me, look right, because it happened as we were passing, we were seeing big stores. And he said those stores are full of the pumps that were acquired for the irrigation thing, and they have all collapsed. All collapsed. So it's underfunding is almost a crime. The funding of agriculture over the past 30 years has been left to small projects funded by external donors, FAO here, World Food Program here, small fund. Those projects are not only small, but they are not sustainable. And also there's been a large amount of embezzlement of those funds. Embezzlement in the sense that a lot of the money, apart from what they steal directly, is also spent on cars and fat salaries for project management people, as opposed to going really right down to the people. So as a result, agriculture has been starved of funding. The state government itself should be seen to be leading the way, and what little donor funding comes should come as a help. But there should have been a determined investment in widening, improving agricultural infrastructure to get irrigation to come all the way, all the length of the river that you have fresh water. And could you imagine that will take us up to the LRR and North Bank? It's not been done. On the contrary, I was in Kayai the last time, and it's a big traditional rice growing farm, and the local people told me, look, our former rice fields are now, you have hippos and all other things because they have been abandoned. So agriculture has gone down that terribly. Now, which means that to feed our people, we have to keep on importing rice. Now, importation of rice, particularly with foreign currency, imports costs, and that adds to the inflation and the difficulties of cost of living here. The same goes for fishing. I can also go the same way. If you only interact even casually with fishing communities down the coast, you'll be moved to pity them. This has been such a decline in it, again due to lack of funding and support that the government gave them, which enabled them to start, was a great start to fishing, to as to the inflation and the difficulties of cost of living here. The same goes for fishing. I can also go the same way. If you only interact even casually with fishing communities down the coast, you'll be moved to pity them. You know, this has been such a decline in it, again due to lack of funding and support that the government gave them, which enabled them to start. It was a great start to fishing industry here, particularly artisanal fishing industries, all along from Gunjur all the way to Bakau and the Nyomis and even up to Kiangs. Almost all those centers have closed. Where they haven't closed, the rare ones like in Tanje, you go there, you only find Senegalese fishermen and others doing it. To make matters worse, these two governments, the APRC and the present government, saw nothing better than expanding the involvement of foreign fishing trawlers to come in on the basis of very badly negotiated agreements. As a result, there is overfishing. The fish stocks are almost exhausted, with sometimes terrible bad practice of even catching little juvenile fishes. And side by side with that is the fact that some of those foreign fishing companies also engage in fish processing, creating environmental problems for us. Under all in a situation, all of it in a situation of little or no transparency and suspected corruption. I mean, the case of the fisheries permanent secretary, who was locked up, was really a very stark case, but it was just a tip of the iceberg of what was going on. And there's a general belief that really the fellow Banja was perhaps a small fry. That particular operation or corruption operation included not only himself but everything. So these governments have been committing serious crimes, in my opinion, in the fisheries sector. Not only they fail to invest and support the sector, but they have also opened it through their policy of arranging corrupt deals with foreign fishing companies, not only to scoop all the fish, but also engage in activities that are environmentally detrimental to the country. So, again, that is, fishing is not only would have contributed to our food security, but it would also been a foreign exchange earner. It is not. You go to the livestock sector, it is the same thing. Now, how do you develop an economy for a country like ours? These are our God-given natural resources. That's where you start. You start by developing them. The crop sector, the fish sector, the livestock sector. And all these three, without any exception, have been seeing their investment going down, public investment going down, and production also going down. By 1994, when the military came in, the production of agriculture, rice, groundnuts, which was the main cash crop, was in the range of 140,000 tons. Nowadays, if you get even 20,000 tons per annum, you feel happy. You feel happy. That has, by the time Yaya Jammeh was out, the production came from 140,000 tons to little over 20,000. Up until now, this present government cannot get it even to 30,000 tons. Lack of necessary investment into agriculture. So yes, this is a difficult question to ask. How do I assess what government is doing about cost of living? As I said, with their back against the wall, there isn't much they can do, and they haven't done much. Unfortunately, the people are pretty much left unprotected, because they have to face the full forces of the international trade crisis, commodity crisis, and without the necessary rise in income here to meet it.
And that's coffee time for today, Wednesday, the 11th of December. Join me tomorrow for an all-new edition of the program, including marketing news from one of my sponsors. Thanks for listening today, and goodbye.